harvest is right, Yolanda. Okay, can you hear us now? Can we get a thumbs up? Picky, you in the pool. Yeah, I know. Because that's the only way I get to go to the pool. Can you guys hear us?
It's harvest.
It was an earthquake. Oh, we have sound. Oh my God. You know what? I'm just going to start this with another simple line.
Start this over.
Holy crap.
Start it over.
Wow.
Hi.
That's one of my worst waste 3 minutes, man. All right, hello everybody. Welcome. We're not having an earthquake. We had some issues. This is hilarious. Well, welcome. I think Ben and I just wanted to drink more. So, Chardonnay. It's September. Let me recap. It's September. Ben's been working hard. Yeah. 2020 Chardonnay is out. It is live on the website now. Oh, all right. Anyways. Yeah, we don't know what's going on.
What is that noise?
Okay, yeah, who let the monkeys in? Thank you, Ziggy.
Can they still hear
I
you?
feel like a monkey.
Can they still hear you?
The monkeys.
You can tell them we're swapping laptops
Oh
around.
my God, we've been swapping laps. Is it April Fool's Day? No joke. This is what happens when, you know what, the pandemic's got to us.
I know.
I think that's what it is. Ben and I hosted a 2-hour virtual Pivot to Pinot Friday night, and I think we're still exhausted about it. Yeah, now it sounds like the Jungle Boat. To Jungle Boat, you're absolutely right, which is my favorite ride. Okay, anyways, welcome. Let's kick this off again. Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm with Papa Pietro Perry Winery. Ben with Papa Pietro Perry Winery. We aren't the best at technical, but you know what we are good at? Making wine.
Yes.
We're going to stick to our day job. So I was saying we are enjoying our 2020 Chardonnay. We only made 190 cases. Super small production. We usually make about 200 to 300 cases. It'll go fast. We just put it live on the website today, so it is available. Hopefully we're going to do a Chardonnay Pinot or Chardonnay.
Hopefully we have enough. I mean, I can drink a bottle a day. I go 4 cases a month. I'll wipe it out myself.
No, I don't blame you. John, you agree. Where's a 13-year-old grandchild when you need them? Correct, because they know how to do the technical stuff, not us. We are a Pinot house. Why do we make a Chardonnay if we're a Pinot house? Ben?
Well, I've always loved Chardonnay, and our Peter's Vineyard produces some of the most beautiful Chardonnay fruit, and we're very fortunate to get a little bit of it. So probably in 98, 99, and 2000, we were better known for our Chardonnay. And then there was ABC, anything but Chardonnay. People didn't want barrel fermented and didn't want malolactic, and they wanted fermented in the stainless tank. All those things we do differently. We do 100% barrel fermented, 100% new oak, and full malolactic. And so because of ABC, anything but Chardonnay, I stopped making Chardonnay in 2001 and converted the other location. So I converted to do all Pinot and no Chardonnay. And we didn't add the Chardonnay back until 2005 when we moved to our present location. I added it back, but just a little bit because I can only get 3 or so tons of Chardonnay from Peter's Vineyard.
From Randy, right? No, and this is, Yolanda's asking, how does it compare to the 19? Well, what's fun, Yolanda, is we haven't even written tasting notes for this. We just bottled this about 2 weeks ago, so it's brand new, which we can do our pretend tasting notes right now.
Like I said earlier, but wasn't heard, the straw color is absolutely beautiful, golden almost in the glass. And the nose, there's apple, sweet apple, and caramel.
Lemon.
Yeah, and lemon and caramel toast in here, And so that comes right at you out of this glass. And then as I've sipped it, apple fruit is prevalent in here, and some pineapple, some tropical fruits.
A little pear.
A pear and just delicious fruit that carries all the way through the whole mouthful. It's just long finish, and it tastes at the end a little bit toast, you know?
I am an ADC person. I traditionally go anything but Chardonnay. I will drink whites galore. Chard's not usually my thing. I love our Chard, especially on release. I think it is delicious. It is great, a great starter wine for me. Drink this while you're cooking dinner. I finish the bottle usually, move on to the red for dinner. And I think compared to the 19, if I'm remembering the 19, I think this 20 is a little bit lighter in style, and I'm getting that more pear versus that lemon and bright apple that I got in the 19. But considering there is no more 19 as well, I'm thrilled we have it back, because I think on ABC and I drink the Chard, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right, I like this Chard.
The 19 was just a little bit cloudy, because everything we don't fine or filter our wine, so it picked up a little cloudiness, but it didn't affect the flavor at all. It was quite delicious. It just a slight haze to, and this one is brilliant color, brilliant clear color. But like once again, I don't like to fine or filter these wines, so we try to be very careful with it. And once in a while, I don't know, it has to do with the weather or what, we pick up a little tiny bit of haze. This one, though, must have been very warm, because we didn't pick up any haze at all of this. Quite beautiful wine.
And a lot of times, so fine and filtering, because that also goes with the reds, where you get the sediment, or you get a lot of the tartrates too. Fine and filtering can strip some of the wines of some of those characteristics that we like, right? And that's one of the reasons we don't want to do it, because we like what we're doing in the glass. This is our featured white in our upcoming Riedel seminar. So if you like the glasses, this glass is the Pinot glass that we're cheating and drinking Chardonnay out of, because we're going to drink Pinot, of course, too. But September 23rd is our Riedel seminar that does have this wine in it. So if you're going to a Riedel seminar, you'll be getting your shipment soon. And if you want to join, you can do that too. Or you can just go online and order the Chardonnay now. Oh, okay. Anyways, I'm going to finish this. Oh,
yes,
well, let's finish this. Because this is supposed to be a dumb bucket, but I don't think I've ever seen any of us ever use it. It had spider webs in it earlier today. But here you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Can you talk about it being an apple orchard?
It was an apple orchard. Peter's Vineyard was an apple orchard. Maybe that's where some of the apple comes in. We whole cluster press this. He's the winemaker, not me. We whole cluster presses when it comes in, and I swear Ben will drive me over. We take his cup, we scoop it into the juice, and it is apple juice. It's amazing.
It tastes just like, and originally the Makita Vineyard, Tom Makita was the owner. Randy is his son-in-law. Tom had grown apples for many, many years, and the apples from Washington State became more popular, and the apples, Gravity's less popular. So he talked his father-in-law into planting some grapes. So he kind of split the property up and gave Randy part of it to grow some Chardonnay, and he had Gallo helped him get started and helped him plant it. And they sold the Gallo up until we discovered them.
Awesome.
Let me catch up here.
Sorry, keep going.
Mm.
It's really good.
It's such a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
Anyway, once Tom saw that how well the grapes were selling, he was more likely to start converting the rest of the property to Pinot Noir. So they originally planted Chardonnay in the late 80s and added the Pinot Noir later. And now there's just a few apples in memory of Tom, and the rest of the property is 25 acres or so of mostly Pinot Noir and some Chardonnay.
Okay, so two questions. How many years can an apple tree produce fruit? Do we know this?
I have no idea.
Perfect. Okay, good. So the answer is it's still going. Number one. If anybody knows that, go for it. Number two, shoot, I already get my second question.
I had an apple tree in my backyard I bought the house and the apple was very mature in '74, and it just died a couple of years ago. So well, you have old vine Zin. I didn't know old vines for like Zin and wines. I didn't know, and vines have a timetable, so I don't know if apple trees do. Well,
have
the
you-
production, what happens is that after a certain amount of age, the production decreases to a point where it's not viable any longer. That's the problem with like Old Vine Zinfandel. After a while, they don't produce enough to cover the cost of the farming. So that's why over the years we've lost a lot of the older Zin vines.
So the older I get, if I do less work for my time, does that count?
Well, that's what pensions are for, or what are they for?
We're gonna talk about the public
Ks?
get your Perry pension at 4:32. My next question is Chardonnay. So you're a garage you started making wine in your garage. You went legit in 98. Did you make any whites? I see some of your old reds, but did you make any whites in your garage?
Yes, yeah, we made Chardonnay.
Just Chardonnay, that's only white?
That's it. Well, I made Sauv Blanc and Chablis a couple of times, and I mean,
And Chablis is because it is.
well, that's what they called it when
Wow,
they sold it,
that's
you know,
true.
but I'm not sure what it was.
Okay, I'm just curious. So
It
you're
was a
making,
whole winemaker thing.
so you're making wine. Yeah, he was a bootlegger. I like using the word bootlegger instead of garage. He sold his wine to his friends. You met him at the parking lot at Safeway. Come here, little boy. Come see what's in the trunk of
It's in
my
my
car.
trunk.
All right, let's go on to Pinot. Sorry, we are Pinot lovers, so we are drinking our blends today. We make two blends. We do not make both of them every year, but we have the Russian River Valley and the Sonoma Coast. Both 2018 blends is what we're going to feature today. So I poured both of us. Hi, Ron, you missed our debacle earlier, but hilarious. Good thing.
Don't tell anybody.
It's our secret, everybody. 2018 Russian River Pinot Noir is what I poured in our glass, and 90% of our fruit, I'm making up that number, is Russian River Valley, right? Because is technically Campbell Ranch in the Russian River Valley, even though it's Sonoma Coast?
No, it's in the Sonoma Coast. Sonoma Coast, although the Russian River is in the Sonoma Coast.
Yes, that's why.
So it's a sub-appellation. Anyway, yeah, so originally, the Peters Vineyard was in the Sonoma Coast, and then Gallo made a push to, they had some, a big vineyard out of Catani on the grade going into Petaluma, and they knew that they would make more money on it if it was in the Russian River, so they got their attorneys together and they were able to move the line, and they based that on the fog line and the drip line for the Russian River, that different creeks and stuff go into the Russian River. So they expanded the appellation to cover that part of the Gallo, which brought Randy Peters into the Russian River. He was originally in Petaluma Gap and Sonoma Coast.
So if you ever see or visit the winery, we have an older vintage bottle of our Peters Vineyard. It does say Sonoma Coast on the bottom.
Pre-2005.
Thank you. Say when did, that was before we got to our, all kinds of things changed. We moved into our location we are at now is what I'm learning.
Yes.
Okay, good job keeping your mouth quiet about some of that stuff. Let's see, so, okay, so the best part of this, so this is a blend of our Russian River fruit, 5 vineyards in here.
All the Russian River Valley vineyards that we get fruit from, because you tell me how big of a lot we need for each, for our club and for the tasting room. So we try to keep it balanced. So she'll tell me how much we need, and I'll make lots that size, and then what parts are left of that vineyard, whatever's left over of all the different vineyards we work with, will end up in the Russian River, and depending where it's at, it may even end up in our Sonoma Coast. And the Sonoma Coast is the one I don't make every year. If there's not quite enough fruit, we're not receiving fruit from that area, then we sacrifice the Sonoma Coast. But we always make a Russian River Valley, and that's all part of all the vineyards that we work with in the Russian River.
Okay, and so 2021, our fruit is starting to come in. It just came in Monday. We're gonna go through a little bit of our steps on bringing in fruit. So Ben is now in his harvest. He is working hard. We pulled him, not from the pool today, but actually from the winery, because grapes were in this morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, this morning. They're in up until, oh gosh, for the next month or so. But was my point to this.
Well, it may not even be a month, because part of our changing weather here is that we're starting to see very compact harvests. So when we decided where we were looking for fruit, we picked different areas of the Russian River and Sonoma Coast, so that we would have time in between to harvest and make the wines. And in the earlier days, we had plenty of time, because the harvest would start maybe the first week in September and go to the last week in October. The last 10 years or so, we have seen compacting of that. Now we're getting our fruit maybe in the middle to late August, and it runs all the way to the end of September. So it all comes in at one time. So it's very hectic now. My crew and I have to work around the clock processing fruit, which was not something we had to do 10 years ago. Now, more so now, we're having more compact harvests. Like Randy, we used to pick Randy in the last week, third week in October, and now always in the third week of September.
So
Maybe
think
even
about this.
earlier this year.
So from now to today that you see Ben on with me on this Wine Wednesday, and the first Wednesday in October, which Ben will be with me on that Wednesday, he is going to do all of his harvest in that time period. That's pretty incredible when you think of our 8,000 plus case winery doing all that work in 4 weeks. So we bottled last week, now we're here. So with the 2021 vintage, I'm hearing it's smaller. We are in a massive drought out here in California, in case you haven't heard. We're always in a drought, though. We're in a massive drought, massive drought. And when you're in a drought, the grapes don't get as much water, and so therefore the fruit is a little more concentrated, there's smaller berries, all that good stuff. How has the last 2 days of grapes coming in? Are they what you want? Are we getting what we need? How does the 2021 vintage
So
look
far,
based on 2 days?
So far, we're surprised a bit. We were expecting about 3 to 4 tons, and the first delivery was 7 tons.
That was Laris.
So no, that was Booker.
Oh, it was Booker. Oh, that's great.
And so we were expecting to past harvest is 3 to 4 tons, and we got almost 7 tons. Which, it's hard to say from just the first picking, but we were led to believe, walking around in the vineyards, that it would be normal to smaller than normal. And now the first indication might be a little larger than that, but we'll see. It's still early in the program, so we have a lot of weeks to go yet.
Yeah, we are in the very, very beginnings of it. Yes, and it's so he's talking about walking around in the vineyards, and him and his team go out and walk the vineyards. They check them out. They decide when they're going to pick them, and you can kind of get an idea of how many grapes are going to come in. Ron's asking, how has the earlier harvest affected the flavor profile of Sonoma Coast and Russian River?
So if you would have watched the thing we did Friday, Nick explained that. It's always 180 days, thereabouts, give or take a week, from bud break to harvest. And so if we start early, like in drought years, sometimes the bud breaks a little bit earlier. So we may be we may be in the middle of August, but the same amount of time it takes. It always takes, I think he said the shortest was 178 days to 186 or 8 days.
Oh, 168 days.
Yeah, so it's a small amount of difference, but it's always about the same amount of time from bud break to, and there's intervals of 60 days in each.
Between the major
one of
months.
the bud break to berry to veraison to picking. So.
Which is good, because Ben likes to go to Hawaii after harvest. Then they can book their airfare accordingly. Well, hopefully you can go to Hawaii. I want to share a couple pictures of the gist of what happens when we bring grapes in, because again, the next time we talk with Ben on this, he's gonna be exhausted. He may not talk much.
He might be in Hawaii.
He might be in Hawaii. He may actually go to Hawaii earlier. But the gist of, I'm gonna just go through these. So these are recent, but this is Nick right here. He's delivering his grapes in the truck. So these trucks come roll up to our property if you've been to see us. Nick Laris with Laris Family Vineyards. He drives with these trucks right up. He brings the grapes. We like to get the grapes early in the morning because
cool. They have to be cool because if you deliver warm grapes, they're already going to start fermenting. So everybody we deal with pick early in the morning and deliver it to us in early mornings. That way, the grapes don't start fermenting. And on the grower side, they're still plump and full of moisture, so they weigh better.
Let me explain. They're heavier is what that means. Because so the grapes come to us like this. Literally, these are the bins. We always talk about grapes in the bins. These are the bins the grapes come in. So this picture is grapes literally just arrived at our doorstep.
And that's a half-ton bin.
Oh,
and I the next picture I'm weighing on the scale, and that scale is maybe 100 years old. It's an old farm scale. Every year the weight and I forget what they call it, come out and certify it to be a legal weight tender, and I'm a certified weight master. And
Did you know there was such a thing? There is.
So I'm certified because there's a lot of money involved with this. You have to be certified. So that scale is very old and it works beautiful. It's the guy that tested says it's better than some of the digital ones and very dependable. So we usually weigh both the bins at one time. So it's like weighing 1 ton at a time.
And you obviously take out the cost. You take out the weight of the
That's removed.
And then you have to make sure there are no growers around you putting their foot on the
Well,
scale.
whenever Randy's around, I have to watch him because Randy Peters, he'll put his foot on the scale when he's talking to me.
It makes it a little heavier. Right?
You know, the butcher, when I put the finger on the scale, well, Randy, you got to watch it. He'll be putting his foot on the scale.
Yeah, you have to watch him. He is a sneaky
He's
one.
a good farmer. He's a good
He's
farmer.
a good farmer, not a good wear. All right, then we get the grapes in. This is the best picture, but if you go to our Facebook page, you can see some of our video. Grapes come in, they go on the sorting table, so we start sorting them because we pick out what is called moog. And that's material other than grapes, and it can be rocks or twigs or leaves or frogs. I've seen it go.
She's seen, you never know what might fall into a bin or hanging in a tree and drop into the tree, but into the vines, but into the box. So we have to sort through it. And then once we sort it, we drop it into our destemmer. And
oh, that's not the destemmer.
No, that other piece of equipment was the destemmer. The destemmer. And what will happen there is that it vibrates the berries very gently off of the stems. And the stems come out the back, and the whole berries drop into our 1 ton fermenters, and then we ferment.
I call it a lettuce spinner. Looks like a lettuce spinner to me. All right, then what do? We put
some dry ice on there. That's a double purpose. It kind of keeps it cool for a while, but it also puts a layer of CO2 on there that stops, while we're soaking for 3 days, stops mold from oxygen. So that's CO2. So that gives a safe cover over the grapes.
Mold is no good. And for those of you who have visited our winery, by the way, all this is done in the back. And if you visit us, normally you see all these barrels everywhere. We move all those barrels out. Number one, we bottled last week and the week before, so everything's out of barrel and into bottle. But what do you do with the barrels? We move them off site. So our entire back area is empty. So now we start filling this back area up with all of these same bins, right? One ton bins?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 ton bins, same bins, and we put them in the back. So this is the very first of our wine with the dry ice on it, getting ready for fermentation in the back corner.
Well, that picture there is the whole place has to be scrubbed clean before we start.
That's the
and in between every day, we spend more time cleaning and sanitizing more so than we do processing. So cleanliness is a really key part of what we do. Make sure that these wines stay fresh and stay safe.
So within the next couple days, we do this, and then we go, our entire back area becomes filled with bins. Look at all of these bins, all of these grapes. So there's cheese. We didn't put cheesecloth on these that you can see because we're about to do punch down on them. But you see the ones on the left of the cheesecloths, the one on the right have some
Bags.
saran wrap. Not
No,
bags.
well,
Saran
their
wrap.
bags, that's a custom crush customer that we do.
Ben ever
And
measured
they have a
your door?
different system that they'd like to
Ben ever
use.
measured your door?
And so each one of those rows are a single vineyard. And within that are the different clones. And we keep each one of those vineyards separate and the clones that come from those vineyards separate all the way through fermentation. When they're through fermenting, we press them and then we'll put them in a barrel, and each one of those lots will stay separate.
Okay, and I want you to notice how closely these bins are and the fact that there's rows of 2 with a space in between. Because I'm going to go to this next picture, which shows you just simply another angle of all of these same bins, and I believe that's, it could be Tyson or somebody over there, they are doing punch down. So the rows are perfectly spaced so that they can have a stool in there for punch down. Now, the most important part of this picture, if you look in that back right corner, you see 2 windows. That very back one is, quote, my office. And Ben, every year, measures my door and doesn't give me any extra milliliter to open that door before he puts a bin there.
Well,
And-
the whole place will have 150 or so of those bins there, so it's really, really tight. We prefer to keep all our fruit inside our building, so every inch counts there, and sometimes, if necessary, we'll have to block your door and you'll never
They
get
do,
out.
and I gotta go out the window. It's kind of like, what was that TV show, Dukes of Hazzards? Think about it, I practiced that when I was younger. But yes, the other joke I tell you guys is to put cheese up by the tasting room, and I can find my way out every time. They give me a chunk of cheese. But what does fermenting bins give off?
CO2.
Yeah.
And dangerous levels of CO2. So there's fans all around the whole perimeter of the fermenting space, and we also have CO2 detectors that we test every day. When people come in, 2 people have to come in to open. One person goes in, takes the test to make sure, and then we put the fans on. The fans are running all the time, but we open the doors to make sure.
Oh, so you test every morning for CO2?
Absolutely.
I did not know this. We do have a CO2 meter in my back office. And my joke is if I don't come out for lunch, please come check on me. Because,
Well, make you laugh first. You say get kind of lightheaded and silly.
and if you talk to me in the afternoon, you know that's actually very true. And the last step, of course, of the wine is pressing the wine. And this is very important because Ben presses every single grape that this is actually Ben in his garage. I'm wearing saran wrap. In his garage pressing, right?
Yeah, that's a 3/4 ton press. That's what we used from about 1986 or 7 till we surrendered our home winemaker for commercial winemaking and actually bought a press. And then that one now resides at the front. Doesn't look anything like that.
Where is that now?
That's in front of the winery. That's the one that's out in front of the winery.
Oh, it is.
That doesn't look so good
It
now.
doesn't look so
So
good.
when I bought that, it was old already. I scraped all the bars down, took it all apart, painted all the parts, cleaned everything, and that, to go back to that picture, you'll see it was in really lovely shape for a very old press.
You both were.
And well, I was a lot younger too at that time. The press and me.
You both look great. Have you ever not had a beard? Or goatee?
When I was in the Army, I was from 65 to 71. I didn't have a
But other
beard.
than that, you always did.
Pretty much, I don't think my mother ever saw me without a beard until the time I was 17.
I was
So I
just
was in the
curious.
Army.
The Army got it up. Okay, so because we opened the bottle, I'm gonna pour myself a little Sonoma Coast.
Well, we didn't talk. I'm going to go
We didn't talk
quickly
about
say-
it. Talk about it. Yeah.
The vibrant aromas of this is cherry and rhubarb merged with hints of crushed rock minerality. Rhubarb, plum, and raspberry. In the middle palate, subtle, spicy oak and tea join in, adding complexity and depth. I believe that the true solid structure stays in the background and it never interfering with the plush flavors of this wine.
It's delicious.
Enjoy this with wild king salmon cakes or
Oh.
king salmon on the plank, as Tyson would say. Roasted cherries and shallots, a pork tenderloin with the roasted
I'll go
cherries.
with either or. Whoever's cooking, I'm game with that. Yolanda had Sonoma Coast last night. It was delicious. So I'm gonna go 3 minutes over since we screwed up with our monkeys earlier. Let me pour Ben some 18 Sonoma Coast. And so the gist of the difference, from my understanding, and Ben's gonna correct me because that's what he does. Sonoma Coast and Russian River Valley, these are our blends. These are the wines we make last. We do our Mokaida, then our clones, and our single vineyards, and our leftover pieces, which is a horrible way to say it. But they all come together in these amazing wines. Our Russian River is going to be all our Russian River fruit. Our Sonoma Coast is going to be different quantities of these Russian River vineyards. In addition, it's going to add in a little bit of our more Sonoma Coast wines. So they are different, which is fun.
The percentages are always different in the Russian River and Sonoma Coast, always. And it's the two wines that we get to play with the palette of mixing together. But a lot of it has to do with what we have left over the different parts. There's nothing wrong with those parts, but since she tells me how big the lot wants to be, we can use it to make a really big lot of vineyard designate and just hold on to a lot of it. And better to break it down and use it in different forms. And so that's what the Russian River and Sonoma Coast. I don't have a lot of coastal fruit, so that's how come sometimes we're unable to make a Sonoma Coast. Russian River every year performs beautifully. It's one of my favorite when you have all the different layers of fruit from the different clones and from the different microclimates and soils. It just adds a lot of character to the wine, and it makes a really pretty and compelling wine, in my opinion. Elegant, also elegant and feminine. Very sexy.
I do agree. The neat thing is too with these blends, they age beautifully because they're the mutts, right? They're a little bit of everything in there that each age their own way.
But we still use a great deal of new oak with this. And
They're delicious.
all of the wines that we use, new oak, 1-year-old and 2-year-old, and that's all. After that, those barrels leave our cellar. They go back on the market to somebody else, and we move on with new barrels every year. So all of these wines that we make see a good share of new oak, but we don't want it to taste like oak, so we want it to be balanced. So that's why I usually 11 to 12 months with the amount of new oak we use, make these wines like perform beautifully. The nose, at first is very seductive. It doesn't matter which wine, the Russian River, the Sonoma Coast, you put your nose in there, it makes you want to go back in there again.
But there is a difference between the two. I actually encourage you, if you have both of these, or you can order both of these, clearly they're online, but if you have, some friends or yourself, Pivot, Coravin, try them side by side, because even at the 18, these are pretty different.
Yeah, well, the other one, the
Some
Russian
are
River,
earthy.
had more cherry,
Yeah.
and this has berry layered and hibiscus in the nose, sun-ripe strawberries. You get more strawberry in here than cherry, and floral notes and some lush raspberry, but not quite the same cherry as we get from the Russian River.
There are a lot of different kinds of cherries. We've Googled this before. Okay, so thank you for everybody dealing with us in the
Already?
beginning. Already, yeah.
I mean,
We're at-
after 2 hours, this feels like just a commercial.
This is nothing. All right, we got lots going on. Ben is clearly in harvest. Don't email Ben. Actually, email Ben. Or email me. But any questions you have, please let us know.
And
Anything
come
you
and
want
see
to
us
know.
too,
Yeah.
because we have an open door policy. We'd love to see you, and we'll give you the 2-minute tour, because that's how long it takes to
Look,
give you the
look,
tour.
That is, we got tons of virtuals going on. We've got, what do we have? We got Reno Glass Seminar. I talked about that. I got to get my list. Wine, cheese, and chocolate email just went out. You like wine, you like cheese, you like chocolate, join us. You can't go wrong. If you're coming to visit us, Healdsburg Crush coming up October 17th. Used to be Pinot on the River. Now it's Healdsburg Crush. We will be there pouring. You want to travel again? Go to San Diego. Ben, Yolanda, and myself will be there. We're at the Song Kong Festival. So Thursday night, we're doing an appetizer. Simone as well. One of their daughters, Simone, is coming. Puppet Pictures are taking over San Diego. That's what it is. We're doing a sunset soiree. We are doing the Grand Decant on Friday night. We are going to be at the Food and Wine Festival on Saturday, November 13th. That's an amazing time. Ben and I are back for unboxing and uncorking. Ron, you said you wanted your fall club allocation. Those are coming out next month. If you're a club member, join us. A free Zoom. Ben and I are going to drink 5 bottles of wine. We promise not to have all the technical difficulties as we did tonight.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe we will. Virtual bingo. We're doing Bringing Back Bingo. Bingo's popular. I think that's November 12th. And then, of course, we have a paella and Pinot event coming up. So our fall club party, October 30th, we have paella. You can't make it? That's fine. We're going to bring paella to you. December 10th is the date, but details to be determined. You can't book that yet. Anyways, I hope
we're cruising again.
Oh, and we're cruising again. Where are we going?
We're going from Turkey to Rome, but we're going to go by the Holy Land and all through the Greek islands, and we're going to see Sicily, I think, this time.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's going to be an adventure. I think it's 14 days.
Istanbul to Rome.
On a brand new ship.
Brand new ship. They're called the Oceanus Vista. That is like October 13th. It's not. It's June 11th, 2023. Plenty of time to mark your calendars. I think an email is going out if you're on our mailing list or our wine club. You're going to get that email tomorrow for a priority wait list. There's no pricing. There's nothing but the date and the tentative itinerary. But we are fun to travel with. We're a lot of fun to travel. Oh my God, maybe we'll do a live on Wednesday on that. That could be fun.
We could do that, yeah.
Yeah, coming to you live.
The thing is, you have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, maybe we will not do. What do you mean we won't go to bed yet? Okay. Anyway, everybody, cheers, Ben.
Cheers.
Thank you yet again.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everybody, and cheers.